Dumbledore.
Hermione!
I quit.
Professor Dumbledore.
What?
How are you? Oh, Professor Dumbledore.
Miss Granger. Did you do it?
Do what? Happy Halloween, y'all!
Happy Halloween, guys.
So today's video is a pick of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So in a pick of the month, we will talk about things that attracted us this month, whether it be an article, a song, a movie, a podcast, anything like that. So that's what today's is. And this month's theme is
Halloween.
if you couldn't guess by now.
Yeah.
So first, we're going to talk about Halloween in our childhood, or lack thereof.
Yes, exactly. So my mum used to make us switch off all the lights. We weren't allowed to open the door to trick-or-treaters. But there was one time when my sister and I, we did buy candy for them. But again, we weren't allowed to open the door. So we just had all of this candy. And there was another time I remember we were just curious about like the costumes and things, and I remember peeking like through the curtain and there was someone with a wolf mask on. And so my front door is like here and the window was there, so I stupidly put my face against the window and the guy in the mask was just like and I just ducked down. I just went to the floor, and obviously they knew that people were in the house and we weren't opening the door. So that was my Halloween experience until I went to university.
So for me, I always did Halloween. One year I was Dracula. One year I was the White Witch from Narnia.
Nice.
My mom spent all night braiding my hair. And the next day it was like crazy curly. Which if we just would have taken care of my curls, that's a whole other deal. One year she sat me down and was just like, this isn't real. We don't worship Satan, any of those things, but it's to have fun.
Yeah. To
dress up in a costume and go trick-or-treating or go to a fall fest or something like that. And so, I really started loving Halloween, just the idea in college. I loved getting candy to give to trick-or-treaters and decorating my house and going to haunted houses, which is something I really missed this year.
Really? Haunted houses?
Yes, girl. Yes. Going to haunted houses.
Not me. I don't mess with... No. I'm sorry. No.
My mom will just like laugh the entire time through it, and it makes the people so mad.
Of course.
Me, I have like this overwhelming protective mothering instinct, so I'm like...
Yeah. Stay back.
But it's a fun time. You haven't watched New Girl, right?
No.
They have this Halloween episode, and there's this character who goes through a haunted house screaming the entire time. It's my favorite
That would be me. World. I would just run through it screaming. Like, I wouldn't even open my eyes. Because there's an amusement park, Legoland.
Okay.
And they have... It's not even a haunted house. It's just a bit where you go through, and it's just dark, and there's Lego things around. I didn't open my eyes once. People told me what the experience was. I didn't open my eyes. I don't want to see that. No. But anyway.
That's great. Alright, so for me, my first pick of the month is about ACEs. ACEs are adverse childhood experiences. When I was in university, I watched a TED Talk with Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris, who's the first Surgeon General of New York. Why did I say New York? She's the first Surgeon General of California. But she talked about ACEs in that TED Talk. But this month, an article was released. She wants to screen every child before going into school for ACEs. Because they can show up in a myriad of ways, from like toxic stress to severe anxiety to even like ADHD. Yeah. So instead of doping kids up on unnecessary medications, let's teach them how to cope with these things. Let's teach them how to handle these situations that life has handed them, and to cope and to grow into successful adults. Yeah. Because these kids, people with ACEs, are more likely to have turbulent adulthood.
Of course, yeah.
And so we want to teach kids how to cope and to grow into successful adults. And I'll link the TED Talk and the article below. So ACES, the Adverse Childhood Experiences, really leads into Sean's pick of the month, which is
The Joker.
The Joker.
So if you know, the Joker film came out this month,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it's received a lot of mixed reviews and such. So I just really wanted to touch on it briefly because, you know, it's way up there for me now after watching it like twice. I really enjoyed the film. So yeah, obviously it deals with mental illnesses and an array of other topics.
Slight spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, so if you haven't seen it, then you might want to just kind of fast forward from here. Yeah, so some of the things that it deals with is how Joker is alienated from society. So we see him being kind of ostracized because of his laugh, for example. He has this uncontrollable condition where he laughs all the time if he's in an uncomfortable situation, and he has a little card that he gives to some of the characters. Anyway, it's the way they react to this laughter that kind of made me uncomfortable as well, because it's something he can't control. It's something that's happened to him from when he was younger, and yeah, I didn't particularly like the way people reacted to him, so that was quite sad. And also the downsizing of social services. So, you know, throughout the story we find out that he can no longer see his therapist anymore because they're cutting back on all of these services. So he even says, how am I supposed to get like my medication kind of thing. So that's another fault. And then lastly, it's just mainly about how you treat other people and how much of an impact it has on an individual. And not to say that what he does at the end is justified, but just to see how his pain progresses, and you know, that leads to, you know, what he ends up doing. But, you know, treat others how you would like to be treated. You just don't know. It just shows you that you don't know what's going on in someone's life. And you could be the trigger to something awful.
Yeah, for sure.
What did you think about it?
I have many thoughts about this movie, but I think a highlight is something Sean mentioned about just, he kind of slips through the cracks with social services, and it's not her fault, his therapist or social worker, because the city cut the system. Like, the city cut the funding, and so she doesn't have enough time or resources to really help him. So she is in a bad place, for not having the money or the time to be able to truly help people, which I know it has to be hard on her. And then just weary. And then for him, he's not getting the attention or help that he needs. But like Sean said, that it doesn't excuse his actions, but it makes it easier to see how things like this can happen. But really, honestly, your actions impact people in ways that you could never even begin to think of. So let's just all be a little kinder.
Yeah, please.
Just a little bit.
So Summer, what have been your favourite things about this month? Whether it's a song or a movie? You mentioned that article, but any other things?
Well, I love October. I think October is one of my favorite months. Not only because of Halloween, because I love Halloween, but especially here in Korea, like, it's fall, right?
Yeah.
The leaves are changing colors, it's getting a lot colder, and I love it.
It's beautiful.
But I think one of my favorite Halloween movies that I love to watch this time of year is Practical Magic. It's amazing. Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman. It is an A+ movie. I mean, Hocus Pocus and Beetlejuice are up there, but Practical Magic is my movie. And then Sean introduced me to this song called Tremors.
Also, shout out to my friend Patrice, because she actually introduced me to this artist about 2 years ago, so yeah.
But ever since Sean played the song, I've just been listening to it nonstop. And I really love Harry Styles' new song, Lights Up. I'm real excited for his new album. Little 15-year-old Summer, whenever One Direction was big, never thought this would happen because I was not really a fan. But here we are. So, you know, people change.
I cannot.
So Sean, do you have anything else for this month?
Oh, actually, I have been obsessed with true crime podcasts. I listen to it a lot. So I recommend one episode for you.
Okay.
Any episode,
Any episode?
just go onto Spotify and check that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So each pick of the month, we will recommend something to each other. So next month is my solo pick of the month. So I will listen to this podcast by then.
Yeah.
Please drop a comment about anything we said, about the Joker, thoughts, your pick of the month, and let us know.
Yeah, and like and subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Stay spooky.